Right, right. Amateur farming. First year rookie mistake. We had all this fertilizer ready to go from the fertilizer store, and we brought it, and we had everyone ready for a work day, and we were all out there spreading it. And by the end of the day, the winds picked up, and we saw it was a red flag warning. And it mostly did okay. You could tell that one good 60-mile-an-hour gust would have ripped off the top bit of soil, and hundreds of dollar fertilizers would have blown away in the wind, and we would have looked really foolish. But that didn't happen, partially because we went out there with the hose and rakes and salvaged it a little bit, but also we got lucky. And that is going to be our strategy for the rest of the year going forward, is to remain lucky in regards to Mother Nature. Well, I've only worked on one other farm in a proper capacity. That was last year, and it was with Oliver and Angela, and we generally had a great time, and we felt very satisfied and invigorated by the work we were doing and the veggies we were bringing home. We had some conflicts with the boss and some frustrations that were never alleviated that led to a lot of people leaving, but also led to all of us pretty unanimously thinking, hey, we could probably do this ourselves. And that was definitely was an initial kernel of an idea, but it sort of grew when we figured out the feasibility and how many good people were on board to help with this. And I guess we'll see. This is our first year. There's going to be some ups and downs. We're going to have to find out what works for us, little tricks of the trade that we think we can do things a little bit better, faster, more efficient, and have great vegetables as a result of it. It's a hustle, though. Certainly there was days last year that the boss would be calling us in 5:30 a.m. We'd be going until 6, 7 p.m. Hot sun, lot to be done. But all of us came back the next year and said, let's do it again. Sign me up. So a little bit of crazy there, a little bit reckless, but we're doing it. We're very committed.
So I'm Oliver. I've had kind of a range of farming experiences in a few different states over 3 to 5 years, and my partners are Sam, who has a background in soil science, and then Angela, who's a chef and has done a lot of homesteading and kind of small scale farm stuff, and then also professional cooking. We're kind of talking about possibility of starting our own farm, and I kind of took some time off to look into it, do some networking, and just kind of meet the local farming community. And through that, I found Red, who was farming here at Nyland Co-housing last year.
The house I found was bright and small, dusted line the outside wall, trinkets calling to be touched.
Waves of Grain is a farm-to-family food cooperative. We go to farmers markets from Denver to Fort Collins, and then also have an online store where you can get from upwards of 10 to 12 different farms, ranches, and different food makers, all in the same spot in a convenient pickup location. So Friends Farm is our first incubator farm. We noticed that the county really needs more food produced, especially things like leafy greens. There's a really high demand for it, and there's also a really high need for land. So we were able to not only share a land access opportunity, but then also help this farm start with knowing their markets, helping them with some tools and even some seeds, and then being here for their first few seasons to support with labor and otherwise.
So we're farming at Nyland Co-housing. It's a co-housing community, I think of about 120 people, maybe 50 homes.
The setting is so quiet with such a beautiful view, and we've got land that people can walk on, safely. I think people really appreciate and want the land to be worked. And I think we're really on the learning curve of how you do that. Because you've got farmers who need land, you've got people who have land, you've got this lack of understanding of, what it takes to farm. When you think about what it's like to go out there for, 8 hours a day in the mud, the dirt, the insects, the heat, the rain, whatever it is, that's really, really hard work, and most people aren't used to that. So
I have done this for a long time, so my expectations are already kind of, I already know that this is going to be really hard. I did work on farms as a child, 10 and 11, 12 years old. I used to hoe melons and stuff like that for a bigger operation that had a well established farm stand on a main highway in the Midwest. The work, I hated it, and I had a few teenager tantrums that, resulted in damaged crops and stuff like that. And it really wasn't as big a deal as my teenager brain made it. So I, got through all of that and learned to embrace it. I actually love the physical labor now. We're just at the start of the season, so we're just getting little seedlings in and getting everything planted. I don't even know what these are called. What is this?
A hook thing.
This hook thingy, I'm sliding it in. There's a thin layer of paper here that we can weave this into. And then you can pull it apart and fan the honeycombs out, and there's slots here to slide over these metal.
This kind of
prongs.
functions as a pin to sort of catch it and spread it out perfectly. And there's little arrows that tell us where we're supposed to put it.
And we can line them up right here
Line it up
with the
good.
metal little points there and get them on there.
Pull out the pin hook thingy. There we go.
And now
Okay.
we'll invert the tray over it so we can capture the paper.
And voila. That's where the dirt goes.
Ready to go. And
We call it Amish Plus.
and each cell will hold a plant.
Each cell will hold a plant.
I think that the water here is probably the main concern that I have anyhow. Just because there's a lot less of it here in Colorado. So I'm kind of concerned with, being able to get enough water to all the crops through the season.
We live in a part of the United States that water rights are really based off of who was here first, how old are your water rights, and there's a seniority. So we have very junior rights on this ditch. There's a high variability with the snowpack too. So our ditch can turn off as soon as mid-July, and then your water bill skyrockets because you're switching to city irrigation water or municipal water because snowpack ended. So you never know when you're going to get this massive high cost influx on this farm, and you can wind up with a water bill for the summer that's thousands of dollars.
Looking at this piece of land here, it's in a little bit of rough shape. It has some salt issues. It has compaction issues. We've got a lot of clay soil, which over years of farming without very careful diligence becomes compacted to the point where plants significantly struggle to grow and struggle to outcompete the incredibly dense clay for water. And that's something that's hard to fix over a short period of time. Just to say, we've got these fields that are no good, that have got tons of weeds, but not much else can grow super efficiently. The one thing that we are trying to do, and that I've been learning more and more about, is no-till, which is what our northern fields are up to under those giant tarps. The idea being, through weeks and months of breakdown under the heat and lack of sun, which sort of kills off everything above ground, that recycles all the nutrients back into the ground without having to till and disrupt the whole soil ecosystem, and that way we can plant right into the ground. I would say the concerns are not, you're going to do a bad job and you're going to run a bad farm. It's that things can go wrong. The weather can screw you over. Small mistakes can be very costly, innocent ones. And yes, as any farmer will tell you, in especially Boulder County, the margins are very tight. More people are probably quitting than joining, which is a concern.
So yeah, it's March 18th. We have a bunch of snow on the ground. We got about 12 plus inches a couple days ago.
Was that Friday night, Saturday? Definitely, I kind of got stranded for a day and didn't come and check the leaks, and so that probably didn't help those. And then we might be like a day behind. I mean, the stuff here is supposed to, one row we were supposed to plant, that's probably gonna be like a week behind, but those plants that was kind of like a test run anyway of all the equipment, so those didn't, I think a mouse might have eaten some of them too.
See green in the evening, see stars in the sky. He's green in the evening.
Today is April 11th. It is a Thursday, and a couple of the things that are coming up that we are really looking forward to is our irrigation getting turned on. Everyone's sprinklers get turned on in the spring, but it's a big deal for us small farmers because it's going to make irrigating and watering our things much, much easier. With that, we also have our first harvest. We have our first greens, and radishes will be coming up in the next week or two, and that'll be a very big boost of esteem and just general good vibes and happiness for seeing the first things come out. So we're really happy for that to happen in the next couple weeks. We definitely are a little bit behind. Partially that's some of our bandwidth as first-year farmers trying to stay on schedule and do things as best as we can. Part of it's been a relatively cold spring. It was our first 70-degree day in Denver just last week, I believe, and it was the latest it had been in 20 years to get that warm.
I hear the bells toll, now watch the flowers grow, and I feel the wind blow out of my window. I hear the bells ring.
So also this week, one of our farm partners, Angela, decided that she didn't want to be a part of the farm anymore, and it kind of put a little bit of a wrench in some of our plans for cooking and having other products, but it seems like some of that was maybe not going to pan out this year anyway, and it was maybe going to be a little overly ambitious, so I think it probably will work out for the best.
It's going to be a real bummer. It's a loss for us. It's a loss for the community, which had already developed relationships with her. But we're still very motivated. We're still very united. The ones of us that are still here, bringing Kevin on into a more expanded role. I really feel good about what we're going to be able to do, even though there'll be some sad moments and some lonelier moments. Our focusing on the veggies and having a first great year is still our goal, and we hope to make it happen.
Well, this is my third year of farming. It's my first year full time, so I'm really excited to be out here every day. It's sort of something I've always wanted to do. The new promotion is definitely a big step up in some decision making as a farmer, rather than maybe just being the farmhand that I'm used to being. So it's awesome to just keep learning just more and more about farming, and it's just a huge gift to be a part owner of this this thing that I believe in and I'm so dedicated to. And so it's great bunch of dirt to grow great vegetables in, so I really enjoy just the process of farming. And then of course the group of guys that I get to work with is just absolutely wonderful, so it couldn't be any better. Every day is a gift out here for sure.
Everything over 4 inches tall. So about a half inch off the turf, something like that, maybe a little higher.
We'll do like an inch or so.
Incher. Today was our first little harvest. We did it to sort of stay on track, and it wasn't quite as big as we had hoped. But we tasted it, and the spring salad mist tastes delicious. So that gives us good confidence for the next bigger one when everything kind of bumps in the next week or two with some more heat and sun. Ooh, drop one.
Precious guys.
Leave a little for snacking.
A little bit behind where we thought we were going to be, but kind of this first crop is really a bit of just like a test run and doesn't really have to be ready by a certain date or anything, as long as it's out of the ground by the middle of May to make room for the next crop. So it's we've got some wiggle room there, which is nice. I think I'll feel better, when we have kind of harvesting a couple things and making first kind of major sale and figuring out that side of things, kind of putting together an invoice for the first time and really then be a bit more official and get a better kind of idea of our kind of numbers and average harvest and get some more data then, I think.
Yeah, the apprehension anxiety is still there. I'm not sure if it'll ever fully go away until the very last day even. We'll be going strong hopefully into November in these tunnels, so have some stuff for over the winter and keep ourselves busy.
I feel like we're off to a really great start. We're kind of limited by water right now, but we're pretty maxed on seedlings and stuff in the ground. We're basically doing everything that we're capable of doing, and we're putting a lot of love into this land, and with all the amendments and everything that we've been doing to make it to improve it as much as we possibly can. So
it's most exciting to me that there are young folks that are getting their feet on the ground and learning how to do that, and will continue to do that. That I think is super, super important, and it's exciting to me to be able to continue to have really good food that I can just walk down to the field and purchase or pick up my share. It just keeps that part of the land alive.
Like once you walk on a farm, once you've stewarded land, like your footprints don't leave. They're there forever. And I get myself teary all the time when I see more than just like my feet out here on the farm. It's so beautiful that they're here.
I just feel like we need to do here what we want for the whole planet. And if we can support more from here to the bigger, broader community and helping it, that's even better. And if we can learn to do better, that's even better. And
I would say for us first-year farmers really doing the best we can and rolling with the punches, I still feel optimistic of where we're going to be. And time will tell.
And when the day hits noon and the breeze is at its best, we'll find our way to the table with the window wide. I'll raise my